Brandon Axmit having the great opportunity to sit down with University of Nebraska President Hank Bounds. And President Bounds just had the university budget hearing earlier this week, a lot at stake. For those who weren't aware, can you recap what all was discussed on Monday and where things stand?
Sure, Brandon. Thanks for the opportunity to be here with you. We did have the opportunity earlier this week, as you mentioned, to meet with the Appropriations Committee of the Nebraska Legislature and talk about the resources that the university needs to be able to meet the needs of the state. And when I talk about meeting the needs of the state, I really am talking about how we grow our economy, how we meet the workforce needs of Nebraska businesses, how we continue to be one of the most affordable and high-quality institutions in the country. Our costs go up every year, and we recognize that legislators are struggling with fiscal stress, but we think that there's no better investment in all of Nebraska than investing in Nebraska, the 52,000 students that we represent, because this really is about the future of our state.
And you talk about the message that you brought to the table, but you weren't the only one who carried that same message. So first off, who are those other people carrying the message, and what does that mean that there were other Nebraskans behind it?
Well, we had faculty members, we had representatives from the ag community, we had representatives from the medical community, but the individuals who testified that I thought were the absolute stars of the show were our 4 student regents. And so we have a student regent that sits on the board of regents. They are basically the student body president from each of our campuses, and they were absolutely brilliant. They brought a perspective that I don't have, that faculty members don't have. They're viewing the quality of their education through a specific lens, and they also talked about how difficult it is to pay tuition, to pay the fees, to pay room and board today. And we don't think about those things the way that young people do. And so they were brilliant, and I was so proud of them.
And you mentioned about the affordability of tuition and part of that message that those students brought. What is the university's thinking in how to keep tuition and higher education affordable?
Well, you know, I'm one of those people that never wants to raise tuition a penny, because every penny that we raise in tuition means that students, maybe it extends the time to degree because they have to, maybe they have to stop out and go to work and raise money so that they can pay for tuition. We recognize that college is expensive, but we also recognize that it is the best investment that a young person can make into their future. And so we're doing everything that we can to control cost. And while we hope that we don't have to raise tuition, we recognize that it may be possible. We're not to that point yet, but we do everything we can to keep from raising tuition.
And lastly, you mentioned the future, and as you look down the road 10, 20, 30 years, where are your priorities? Where are University Chancellor and Board of Regents in terms of where you want the university to be down the line?
Well, we need to be a bigger institution. We need to grow our enrollment. We need to be an institution that is graduating students faster. We need to be doing more research that matters to Nebraskans, that matters to all of us across the United States. We need to be doing more and better service out in all of our communities. I think that's what Nebraskans expect from us, and we need to do all of that at the same time that we remain one of the most affordable and accessible universities in the country.